welcome to this week's Sunday Girl. I'm joining you today from the glorious sunshine in the National Park here in Killarney, and I don't know if you can see Mucker's house there also in the background. My guest today is a woman that I so admire. I met her through modelling about 2.5 years ago. She's a woman of my own vintage, and she really is about everything we're about, which is kind of live and dream Sunday Girl, in that she has used the time over lockdown to fulfill a dream and to bring a new business to fruition, and she's going to be telling us all about that. So my guest, without further ado, is Julie Bennett. Julie, welcome to Sunday Girl, and thank you for joining me. So listen, without further ado, Julie, tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so well, as you know yourself, I met you through the modelling. A couple of years ago, I decided, my kids were grown up, and I decided to do something for myself and push myself a little bit. So I reached out on Instagram to a few people, and they put me in your direction. So
wise people,
which I'm delighted over now. And I've had so much lovely experience in the last year has been sporadic, like 1 or 2 times because of COVID and everything. But the first year, like, I remember I was begging you to put me into a fashion show. Please, I'd go anywhere, just give me experience. And you were great. And I remember the first one was the Mother's Day one in Cork.
That's right.
And we had to model, and it was my first ever time.
It was such a busy day, 3 shows in one day.
And we had to stand on podiums, and I was even just practicing my model walk. Don't mind stand on podiums. So I think I got away with it, but since then, being on RT and having that fantastic experience.
Well, I suppose my first memory of meeting you, and I have to put the hat on, guys, because it's actually screamingly hot sunshine. So the first time I met you, I think we met for a coffee. After, I think I was working in Cork, and we went to the Brown Thomas coffee shop.
That's right.
And we met together there for a coffee. And I do often, after work, I would often meet a lot of people, and they'd be fabulous, and you'd say that's great, and you go home and you wouldn't think anything of it. But when I met you, I was just struck by you, and I was struck just by your enthusiasm, and more than anything, you're kind of like, I'm going to give anything a go. I'm willing to give this a go. I can look fear in the eye, and I can give it a go.
I think you were talking to Aisling on your last Sunday Girl. Aisling, she's a fabulous model with you, and she's so experienced. And she said a really good thing. She was saying, it's not about age anymore. It's not about size. And the age thing, I felt confident enough a couple of years ago to approach you, even though in my early 50s, it just showed you can do what you want to do in life, I think, can't you? You can actually, if you have a dream or if you have something you want to do, you can do it. And I think a couple of years ago, when it was on social media that I could see that age wasn't a factor anymore. So that gave me the confidence to reach out. And I think she mentioned about self-esteem too, and you have to have the self-esteem to probably do that. But I certainly didn't have the confidence.
And she also spoke about the difference between the two.
Yeah, and I mean, you only get the confidence from your experience, don't you? So, I mean, I've had a bit of experience, as I said, but...
Julie is underplaying it, okay? Yes, she walked in a fashion show 3 times in one day, then she walked in another fashion show in Killarney, and now she has appeared numerous times in television, and she is booked for commercial shoots.
Can I say about
she's a little bit more than just experience.
Can I say about those fashion shows? I begged Orla to let me take part. I actually nearly bribed her to let me take part because I had no experience, and she said, okay, and, come down, do it.
That's something that a younger model may not know, is that they sometimes think that they come, straight into life, fully trained, and that perhaps they don't have to learn. Where I think as we get older, we realise that no, actually, I do have to learn, and I'm also open all my life to learning something new, and I have to kind of, put my back into it.
Well, there's so much to learn in everything, in every profession, every walk of life that you're in. I mean, the nutrition, as you know, I'm a nutritional therapist, and I got more into the last year. I got into the business side, to start kind of making making a business for myself in it, and kind of redesigning my Instagram a little bit. And
tell me more about what you do now. But what's your full-time job over and above modelling?
Well, I've trained as a nutritional therapist. I qualified in 2009. So a nutritional therapist basically treats the body holistically, looks at every angle, lifestyle, diet, supplements, stress. They look at it from every way. Where a doctor, you go to the doctor and they don't have the time to do all of that.
Correct.
And they're brilliant, but they just don't have the time. So the doctors basically treat your symptom to make you feel better, but if they had time, they'd be able to look under the hood, so to speak, and see what's happening. So that's basically what I would do. And I suppose I got into it. I was always interested, but I think my relationship with nutrition started out quite negatively. I was a teenager growing up in the 80s, and I developed an eating disorder called bulimia, and it went on for about 5 years, and back then you just didn't speak about it. I was so ashamed. I felt so guilty, because at that time, I was saying to you before, we had Bob Geldof raising money for all the, there was an Ethiopian famine going on, and if I sat at home, if I was to tell somebody, they would say, they were always saying, oh, there's poor people dying in Africa, starvation. Imagine, and you're bringing up your food, or you're doing this, you're not respecting your food. So it was a lot of shame, a lot of blame myself, and a lot of guilt. And I couldn't articulate it, because you're a teenager, and there was no mental health really. You didn't speak about those things in the 80s anyway.
And you're probably very isolated, I think.
Yeah.
Nowadays, obviously, in the business that I'm in, I've come across eating disorders. A lot of them I've come across bulimia, anorexia, and not just in women, but I come across it more and more in men also.
Really?
And also an extreme fitness, where the person is, over exercising, and you always identify it, and you always know that it's something else. It's not actually a relationship with food. It manifests itself like that, or a relationship with exercise. It's actually, it seems to be a relationship that the person has with themselves, and a trauma or something kicks it off. And
there are triggers in it, and everybody has their own triggers, but I suppose.
How did you get help? How did you recover?
Well, you see, I went to America when I was 19, then I went over to au pair. That's what people did in the 80s, the early 80s.
That's how we got our visas then. Or not our visas, whatever the case may be.
I was going to meet my handsome prince, who was loaded.
And lived in Bel Air.
And lived in Bel Air. That didn't happen. So I came home after 4 months.
She's happily married in Cork.
I came home after 4 months, and I actually came home, and I was very bad over there with the bulimia. I was unhappy, I think, and I came home anyway, and I just decided, Julie, start afresh.
Okay.
Something in me said that you can't keep going on like this. And I didn't talk to anyone, even when I actually posted about this recently.
That's how I became aware of it. And I know you 2 years, and it's not something that will come up naturally in conversation anyway.
And because my friends even kind of gave out to me, they said, my close friends from that time that I'm still friends with, no, not gave out, but it said, I never knew that, why didn't you tell me? But it's not something you tell, people, because you're ashamed, as I said. But so I just decided no, and I stopped it. And I suppose my relationship with food was always a little bit treading on, eggshells, to speak, after that. But I never did it again.
And sorry, how did you enter recovery? Did you get counselling?
I didn't get any counselling or anything. No, I just put it to the back of my mind, I think, and I just stopped. And I actually was busy in life then. I met my husband, I got married, had kids, did everything, all those things. And that's how it was for me. It was like as if I just blocked it out. And it's only in my 30s when I went to work in a weight loss clinic. We used to do this mental weight. So the mental weight would give you an idea about why the triggers for people, why they overeat and everything. So I actually did it myself one day, and I was very surprised to see the same triggers, like the guilt and perfectionism, the things that were in me were in my clients, the people I was seeing. And it made me think about it. And I was saying, you know, my relationship is not good with food. It's not good anymore. You know, it's not, I eat, but I don't, I don't think about it. I'm not mindful about it. I mean, I didn't have the disorder anymore, but I think it was still in my mind, you know.
And for somebody watching this now that, you know, can identify with what you're saying, because I know that eating disorders manifest themselves at all ages in life, and sometimes somebody can have it in their teens, and then something happens often in middle age, and it can actually come back again.
Yes.
So what advice would you give somebody?
Well, what I did at that stage is I went and did, I mean, not everyone's going to do this, but I went and did a nutritional therapy course to learn more about food and learn about the healing side of food as well, and that you can heal yourself with food.
Okay, we just had to move the camera there because the sun is so high in the sky that it's causing shadow, and my photography friends kind of DM me and correct me on everything I've done wrong in this video, okay? But we're going to go back, and we were talking there about where people can get help. Like, there wasn't help when we were growing up, but there is help now.
There wasn't help, but now there is. Bodywise is the national society that you could go to, association, and I know there's another one in Cork, eating disorder, and I think they're national as well. So I think the main piece of advice would be to reach out if you know somebody, or you have a suspicion that someone in your family or your household is suffering with some kind of eating disorder. It's even for you to reach out, you know, for them, because they probably won't say anything, but that's the important thing. Really.
Yeah, I think also congratulations on your business.
Thank you so much.
You know,
and I hope to be doing a bit more
And what I was going to say is you're going to see her face a lot anyway, as she continues to pursue a very successful commercial modelling career.
And like the Upfront Model Management is such a lovely family. Like, it really is. I think Ashton said that last week.
Well, we are like a family.
We are like a family, and we must actually all get together when we all can, and
we'll have a family,
have a celebration
barbecue in my place.
And I've met some lovely models. We'll hold you to that, Orla.
Just buying 10 litres, 100 litres of wine
and beer,
and hire a cook.
I hope you can all hear that, lads.
No, it's a date. I think we all need to get together. We do. I'm only seeing people on Zoom and seeing them now because we can now meet outdoors, distance. So look, the final word is thank you, Julie, so much for joining me, for joining us on Sunday Girl. You're a magnificent woman. I just have so much admiration for you. What is your last word? Do you have any last word?
So the last word, I think I would say to everyone, enjoy the moment. That's a cliche, but also you are enough. And that's another cliche, I know. But never think, like, I've done it, you know, I can reinvent myself in my 50s. So can you. You can do it at any age. Don't think you're too short, too tall, too heavy, too thin, too anything, because you're not. And if you have a passion to do something, do it.
Thank you. With those wise words, we both wish you a fabulous week, and thanks for joining us. Bye.